Welcome back to the program. The recent torrential rains that have ravaged infrastructure in the country have not spared businesses belonging to young people under the Youth Enterprise Revolving Fund, as 14 of them were affected. The damage, valued at about 200,000 emalangeni, as climate change continues to disrupt weather patterns. The fund has now decided to introduce a mandatory agribusiness insurance loan that is partnering with Lidwala Insurance Company. To get more insights on the insurance loan business, journalist Nelsiwe Ndlangamandla had a conversation with the CEO, Mandla Nkambule.
CEO, welcome to the show. We've learned that you've introduced a mandatory insurance for businesses funded by the Youth Enterprise Revolving Fund. We know that the effects of climate change are upon us. My first question to you is, how many businesses have been impacted by the effects of climate change that you have funded as a fund, and what is the total cost?
The last 2 or 3 weeks were torrential rains which resulted in floods. Those torrential rains have significantly affected our young people or clients who are doing crops, as some of their crops were submerged in water and they've been affected. Some have developed diseases. We have also seen heat waves, which is high temperatures, where some of our young people who are doing broilers were also affected. I think we had reports where the chicks died due to the heat waves. We have also received reports where some of the young people who are also doing in agriculture, in the crop production, where their equipment, the irrigation systems, pumps, pipes, were washed away by the floods. The reported incident, what we are dealing with now, which have been reported, which will be presenting to the board for special emergency and recovery fund, because we need to quickly intervene and provide some funding for them to resuscitate their businesses. We are talking about 14, which is their requirements in terms of how we can resuscitate their business. They need something like plus minus 200,000. The effects are very, very high. So I think it has then the need to come up with a mandatory insurance agri product. We introduced the product last year, but we gave the young people some kind of optional to say if they wish, they should take up the loan with one of the reputable service providers, which is Lidwala Company. But we have noted that they've not taken the loans, they've not taken the insurances up to date. Hence, then now affected, are being exposed to these erratic weather conditions. So we are looking at to say we need to kind of come up with modalities to say insurance should be part of the loan, where at least to protect them.
How will this insurance CO be tailored according to the different needs of these small agribusinesses? Ema insurances lamaneng, you find that maybe they are for people who already have money, and yet these are startup businesses.
The insurance with Lidwala, we have designed a special insurance product for the young people, which is also have got low premiums in terms of rates, where we are covering all agri products, including assets for drought, fires, floods, thefts, even if their livestock gets injured during in transit. So we have looked at that. The key thing is to cover them on the input costs. So if their clothes, their products get damaged by disaster, by all the other perils I've mentioned, then they will be basically compensated fully. So hence the need for that insurance. It's one of the mitigations we are basically considering as an organization. The rates, the premiums, they range between 2% to maximum 4% on the input costs.
Don't you think, CEO, that introducing the insurance will now be a deterrent? Maybe young people will feel like, oh, now I have to pay more to the youth fund. Maybe me and you understand the importance of insurance, but I have to ask this question because it's something that I got from some of the youth organizations.
That is very true because of lack of knowledge and information. But insurance you should not look at it from a cost perspective. You should look at it from a business expense to say it's a must. Your business must be insured against, I think if you look at the products range, even your vehicle must insure, your assets you must insure against fire or theft. You've got insurance even for loss of profits. So I think we should be basically training them on the understanding. The major issue I'm bringing up is the lack of financial literacy for most of our young people to understand in terms of the risk associated with their businesses. Because if you understand the risk associated with their business, then you always look for the risk mitigation measures. So that is one. I personally don't see it as a deterrent once they understand that it will serve. In fact, it will give them more confidence to enter into this kind of high risk business because they know that they are covered somehow in terms of potential losses or damages or against theft. We also have issues even right now where some of especially the young people doing livestock, where we've seen an increase on theft of their chicks, pigs, and other things. These are things we find that they now has got an direct impact on their profitability.
Now that you have introduced the insurance CEO, will the protocols change now, like to say someone who applies for the youth fund maybe needs to do things like soil testing?
I think for me it will be more to say how do we fully commercialize agriculture, where we have to come up with new rules. But for now we'll continue because you must remember our fund is development. It's basically trying to come as an intervention on the current poverty issues as well as the high unemployment rates among the youth. That is very, very key. However, we definitely need to take them to another level to commercialize, where we'll be coming up with even in some of these agri products, come up with minimum standards. For example, if you want to grow maize, what is the break-even point in terms of the gross profit margins? We are looking at to say you cannot commercialize in a less than 3 hectare for beans with less than 1 hectare. Because end of the day, one thing we have noted as an impact failure for them to be able to pay back the money is because already the business from scratch, the business has been making losses. And they were saying, let's put some kind of science behind the assessments. However, there is also another way we want to assist to say, the other way, they can still have the small pieces, but can we cluster? Maybe let's say in one area or community, we cluster them. They've got 0.5 hectares and stuff, but we cluster them. We treat them as one. We find out they've got 5 hectares if you cluster them. In terms of even the production, they get the production plan from NMC or from NAMPORT. It's kind of organized. We need to organize them at that level. Because the nice thing with the partnering with the NMC and NAMPORT, they already have got technical people, extension officers on the ground to support them.
We know, CEO, that some of the small and medium enterprises have challenges in paying the loans. What different initiatives are you doing that this fund continues to be a revolving one?
We have made some improvements to ensure that we shorten the loan processes. We have basically implemented a loan management system kind of digitalized, which is then the other thing, if you recall, we have already discussed this with you in terms of other key improvements which are aligned to our strategy. It's around the continuous loan applications. We no longer do cyclical. The other one is around bringing the services very close to the young people through decentralization of our services. We have opened as well regional offices, and in addition to that, we have now opened satellite offices at Pikespeak, Estobela, and Hlatikulu. So these are improvements. We are looking at other areas such as Buhleni to say that we can bring, because I think Buhleni is now vibrant. We've got a lot of young people to service the young people along that corridor. So we are looking at that. I think the most important thing, which is we are going through those amendments, is the changes in our regulations, key amendments on the regulation to say, let's bring most of these functions which were currently or are currently basically performed by our intermediary, financial intermediary, as per the regulations in-house. That will, one, improve the time it takes or shorten the time it takes to complete the loan processes. The second one, it will also assist us in improving the collection. I think we started last year to bring the in-house, to bring the collection in-house. But we want to make those amendments very, very, very clear. So the issue around the loan repayment, it's putting the fund at risk, the poor repayment rates, which we are saying currently it's sitting around 50% in terms of our collection rate. It's just about 50%. We are coming from a very low rate of 18%, which means we appreciate the response we are also receiving from the young people when we are doing follow-up. Some of them are paying, some of them they've never defaulted, some of them they've already settled their loans. I think it was more of an internal issue rather than the young people in terms of to say they need to be followed up. We need to have a collection system which will check on an ongoing basis and follow up. However, we've seen also a culture where some of them, they're doing very, very well in their businesses, but they are not willing to pay. I think it's a mentality issue, an entitlement issue, which we believe it has to change. And we are trying to encourage them to come forward to pay. We are open. Our office is open to understand their challenges. We have also come up with a policy of restructuring and rescheduling the loans.
Unfortunately, CEO, I've got 10 minutes on Enterprise Watch, but let's hope that young people will embrace this insurance as climate change continues to disrupt weather patterns. We will see more sectors getting the chance to have this insurance.
That was our business journalist Nosiwe Njangamandla in conversation with the YEF CEO. Let's drive straight into our market analysis.